literacy. So mainly when we're talking about financial literacy, we're talking about simple and compound interest. So simple interest, the formula is I equals P or T. That formula will be on your star chart. However, you need to know what the letters mean. It finds the interest. Simple interest only finds the interest, that formula. The rate must be written as a decimal, so it will be given to you as a percent, and to change a percent to a decimal, you need to divide by 100. T is always the time in years, and P is the principal or starting amount, and A is the total amount. So to find the total amount, I'm going to add the interest, whatever I get when I use this formula, to my starting amount, which is the principal. Compound interest finds the total amount, so A is equal to P times 1 plus R to the T. Rate still has to be written as a decimal, so if it's given to you as a percent, you need to divide it by 100. T is the time in years. P is still the principal or starting amount. But to find the interest, I need to subtract the principal amount from the total amount. So whenever you want to compare simple interest and compound interest, it has to be the same thing. You either need to be comparing interest to interest or amount to amount. So you're going to have to adjust the formulas depending on what you want to compare. So here we have Jessica's grandparents gave her $2,000 for college to put into a savings account until she starts college in 4 years. Her grandparents agreed to pay an additional 7.5% simple interest on the $2,000 for every year. How much extra money will her grandparents give her at the end of 4 years? Okay, well, first off, you have to decide if it's simple or compound. It says simple interest, so I know I'm going to be using the formula I equals PRT. And then we're going to use our T-pair chart to fill in all of our missing information. So it's asking for 4 years. The principal is $2,000 because that's our starting amount. And the rate is 7.5%, so I need to divide that by 100 because our rate has to be written as a decimal. So 7.5 divided by 100 is 0.075. Now I can start to plug in the formula, but what am I actually looking for? Am I looking for the amount, the total amount, or am I looking for the interest? Well, it says extra money. That extra money is going to be the interest rate, or the interest. So I'm looking for the interest, which, lucky for us, that's exactly what the simple interest formula finds. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug in. We have 2,000 times 0.075 times 4. I type that in the calculator. I get 600. So the interest is $600. But for fun, let's go ahead and find the total amount. Well, to find the total amount, I add the interest plus the principal. Well, the principal was $2,000 and the interest is $600, so the total amount is $2,600. But the question asks for the interest. Now, a newborn child receives a $20,000 gift towards college education from her grandparents. How much will the $20,000 be worth in 17 years if it's invested at 7% compounded annually? Again, we're going to make our T-pair chart. And the first thing we need to do is decide whether it's simple or compound interest. Well, it's going to be compound interest because it says compound. So I'm going to use the formula A is equal to P times 1 plus R to the T. It says time is 17 years. The principal is the starting amount, which is $20,000. And the rate, again, it's written as a percent, so I divide by 100 to make it 0.07. Now, what am I looking for? A total amount or interest? Well, it says how much is it going to be worth? So that's the total amount here. So that's exactly what the compound interest formula finds. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug in 20,000 times 1 plus 0.07 to the 17th. I type that in the calculator. I get 63,176.30. Now that continues on, but please remember that money only goes to the hundreds place. So I'm only going out 2 places. Now, again, just for fun, we're going to find the interest. Well, if I find the total amount, to find the interest, I subtract the principal from the total amount, which is $43,176.30. So if we're compounding annually for a long time, you're going to make a lot in interest. Okay, our last question we have here is determine the amount of interest earned on $2,500 investment if it is invested at 5.25 annual interest compounded monthly for 4 years. Oh, that should be compounded annually. That is a typo for me. So it says our time is 4 years. It's compounded. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in everything we need. Our time is 4 years. Principal is $2,500. And I divide by 100 to make our rate 0.05%. It says determine the interest. So here I'm looking for the interest. But if I look at the compound formula, it gives me the amount. So I'm going to have to adjust. That's why we make our T-pair chart, to make sure that we have everything we need. So I go ahead and plug in, and I type that in the calculator, and I get $3,067.81. That's our total amount. That's what the compound interest formula finds. Now I'm going to go ahead and subtract our principal to find the interest. So $3,067.81 minus $2,500 is $567.81. All right, ladies and gentlemen, biggest thing with simple and compound interest is you need to make sure you're using the right formula. Is it simple or is it compound? And truly determine what you're looking for. Is it the total amount or is it the interest? There's ways to use both formulas to calculate that. And make sure you change your rate from a percent to a decimal. Thank you.